What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to tie what is probably the most annoying bug out there, and it's a mosquito. I believe that you could tie these on a wide range of sizes, probably from a size 10 to a 16 or even smaller, because if you sit outside long enough, you will see mosquitoes in all sorts of sizes come at you. I killed one the other night that was a really light tan color. So different colors, different shape, or different sizes. So I think that you could tie these in a pretty wide range of different sizes to match your fishing needs. This hook, I'm doing a size 12 on a standard dry. Thread is uni thread 6/0 in black. And I have everything out in front of me, so with that, let's get tying. I've already did a thread base here. If you can see that, I left some room behind the eye. I have a pretty big, wide hackle from the cape that I'm going to use for a tail. And I don't know how many fibers I grabbed. Six or seven probably. And I'm going to try to measure this to be about the length of the hook. It looks a little long. Let's see if I can grab my forceps and just pull that a little bit. Probably not. In that case, I'll just have to regrip it best I can and try to move it back. Maybe to about there. That looks about right. I'm going to secure this, trying to keep it on top of the hook. The tail might be a little long, but I'm not too worried about it. It's really hard to grab onto those little barbels and try to measure them out and hold them and tie them in. Snip out any of the excess and then take our thread back, leaving a little room before the tail. The body material I'm using is moose mane, and this can be a little tricky as well to tie in. Just trying to keep the tips together. It'll make it a lot easier to get it with the hackle pliers. I'm going to wrap up some and just make sure this is really secure before trimming out the butt ends, or the tips, I guess. And now I'm going to take my thread up and put a half hitch in it. Just to keep it from spinning. And this part can be the part it can be kind of tricky, because you want to try to keep the hairs side by side. So you might have to play with it for a minute to try to grab it with the hackle pliers. Just get them set somewhere to where they're the same length and they're straight. Which is easier said than done. And then just start palmering it forward, unless you break a hair, which I did. Which is easy to do with this. So I will add this one back on. Alright, retry that. If that happens, don't sweat it, just wrap back to it and retie it in. I think this is a good fly to practice your dry flies with, because there's only a couple materials and they're not too hard to work with. Moose mane can be fussy, but it's not like some of the other materials that can be pretty finicky. Just keeping them close together and wrapping forward. I'm gonna go a few more turns and one more about right there. Get my bobbin cradle out of the way. And we'll go ahead and tie this off. And then we can snip those out. I'm gonna go ahead and clean up the area where I tied it off, just get it ready for the hackle. And remember to leave yourself plenty of room behind the eye of the hook, because these are, when you start doing the smaller flies, it's really easy to crowd the eye of the hook. And I know y'all can't see that, but it gives it a really cool white and black barring. Next, take some Solaris bone dry, and you're just going to paint over the body with it. This gives it a really nice glossy look, and also adds durability. I think it really makes the different markings of it kind of pop out, where you have the black and the white moose mane. The resin really makes it pop. Just paint over nice with a thin coat. And then we'll grab our light and we'll go ahead and do that. And if you wanted to, you could probably add like a red dot to be a mosquito full of blood, or just get creative with it. Now here's where my dry flies differ from everybody else's, because I don't tie in hackle tips for the wings. I don't know if it really matters. The fish isn't going to see the top of the fly, and for me, I'm just not there yet for trying to tie in small hackle tips. I'm practicing on it, so maybe I'll get there one of these days. But for now, this is how I tie mine in, or this is how I tie the fly. I just go straight hackle. I don't try to add any hackle tips. Tie your hackle in, make sure it's nice and secure. And go right behind the eye of the hook and put a half hitch. Right there. And I did measure this hackle out. I believe it is a size 12. I hope. Kind of hard to measure it when you can't pull it tight. Then you just want to go one wrap in front of the other. I like trying to do them kind of close together. I like it hackled pretty heavily on the front. And once you get to the eye of the hook, go ahead and tie the hackle off. And you'll probably trap hackle fibers, that's okay. You trim them out later. You just want to make sure that hackle is nice and secure. I try to do 3 wraps on it and then pull the hackle back. And get a couple wraps over it before I go ahead and trim it out. Careful not to nick your thread here. Any of the forward facing fibers, you can go ahead and trim them out. And I got some here in the back that aren't doing what I want, so I'm gonna go ahead and trim them out as well. I think that looks pretty good. And I've said it before, on these smaller flies, I don't really like to whip finish unless I have a little more room. I kind of crowded the eye, so I'm going to use the back of my whip finish tool for the half hitch tool. And I just think it makes it a little easier, especially when you get onto some of the smaller sizes, size 14, 16. Once you start getting there, then the half hitch definitely makes it easier. All right, pull your thread tight. Make sure it's gonna stay. And you can go ahead and clip your thread out. What I like doing is putting a little bit of bone dry on the thread wraps to make sure that they're going to stay in place. Try to clean up the head a little better, but you can use whatever head cement that you like. Don't need much here. Just get it on them thread wraps and then cure it, and you're good to go. Pretty fun fly to tie. Of course, I think all flies are fun to tie in their own way. But mosquitoes are something that are abundant near any body of water. So no matter where you go, you can always count on a mosquito fly to get the job done. Early morning, late evening. Like I said, try different sizes, try different shades of brown. Go out and look at the mosquitoes in your area and then just try to match the size and colors. That's what I plan on doing with that brown one. I'm going to find some material that I like, and I'm going to tie one in that color, because there's no shortage of mosquitoes where I live. But there you go. A mosquito fly. I know it's hard to see. I'm really working on getting a better setup. But if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Subscribe if you're new, or consider subscribing. It would help out, along with a thumbs up. And we will continue to do this kind of thing. When more with hunting season coming in, then I don't know how much I will be tying, but there'll be hunting videos, so that's a plus. But let me know what you think in the comments. I know the tail's a little jank, kind of hard to see, but I hope y'all enjoy, and until the next video, y'all have a good one, and I will see you later.